This is Hollywood. Matías Bombal with you. Appleberry Pictures releases John Turner and Eric Christensen's new documentary, Korla, about one of the most interesting musicians to reach the new and larger-than-ever audiences that watched television in the 1950s. Before the advent of television's large viewership that allowed you to see as well as hear musical talents, a musician's popularity had to be amassed slowly over time through recording sales, radio work, theatrical movie shorts or features, and theatrical appearances. A theater could only hold at the most a few thousand people at once, and television made it possible for many more thousands to see and hear an artist at exactly the same time, and in many cases, live. The pioneering days of the new medium were primitive by today's standards, to be sure, and directors for TV were making things up as they went along. If a director or producer today were to suggest a program with a single musician playing an organ and piano set next to each other at an angle for most of the broadcast, they'd be laughed out of work. But when TV was new, there was an adventurous sense to try anything. That man with the luminous eyes was none other than Korla, a musical man of mystery and intrigue who would have a profound and in many cases hypnotic effect on the viewers of his musical programs. He was well versed musically, and this movie shows us how he not only was a noted theater organist, but handled piano and electric organs such as the popular Hammond B3 with equal facility. Pandit recorded numerous albums over the years, which sold well due to his ongoing television presence. It was not, however, his splendid musical skill which dazzled early TV viewers. It was his singular, exotic, and theatrical personality that he honed into a fine art that brought him fame. He rarely spoke on camera, but would look directly into the lens, his eyes burning through the TV in the living room, straight through you, and leaving a burn mark on the wall behind you. Then there was his jeweled turban, adding an accent of India to create a bit of foreign intrigue. Director-writer John Turner, with Eric Christensen, shares the public personality of Korla Pandit as it developed to greater and greater fame through fascinating interviews with those who knew him professionally, as well as fans of his music who admired him over the years. They've found great film footage and other visual materials not seen in years, like this remarkable interview.
I know many of our viewers would like to know some of your background, so why don't we start with the very elementary things. Where were you born?
I was born in New Delhi, India, and started performing music, in a sense, at a very early age, 2 years and 4 months old.
Really? You showed an aptitude toward music at that early an age, did you?
Yes. We had a large home, and they heard someone downstairs playing the grand piano, which my mother, who was a French coloratura soprano.
Oh, was that so?
My father was Hindu Brahmin. And they heard someone playing piano, And they thought it might be one of my older brothers or sisters, and they came down and they found that I was picking out melodies. They left me alone, and later on I played more melodies, and so I had quite a repertoire of songs as far as my fingers could reach, you see.
Thus began the rise of a theatrical musical personality like no one else. This movie delves into the mystery of this man, so readily accepted just the way he presented himself by television viewers and concert-goers alike. However, this documentary suggests many in circles close to him began to wonder about some aspects of his story which just did not seem to add up. Was he really from India? What of his family? Could it be that he might have had another ethnicity altogether, one that would close opportunities for him in that era and culture?
With his hypnotic Svengali look, reaching through the television into housewives' homes, white housewives' homes in Southern California, then other places in the country, he was establishing an emotional, intimate connection. As an Indian, if an African-American man had established that kind of connection, he would have been beaten, thrown into a police car. Bad things would have happened.
Many are interviewed investigating this possibility, but there were some insiders that knew another side of Korla's life, and for the first time in public fashion, this movie explores and discovers a remarkable story almost as strange as the exotic world Korla created with his art. We see Korla's rediscovery by pop culture in this movie, where he developed a cult following in the tiki and exotica music resurgence, leading to an appearance in the 1994 Tim Burton movie, Ed Wood. In my own experience, I have known several individuals personally that knew Korla Pandit very closely. To the last one, each agrees Korla's true person was one of gentleness, grace, and showmanship. Following his death in 1998, mysteries of Korla's life began to reveal themselves at last. We learn of one journalist in particular, fascinated to follow up on all leads of this talented man and the remarkable discoveries he made. I think this is the best musical documentary I have seen, not just this year, but in recent memory. Currently, the movie is playing in limited engagements across the United States. Ask your local art house to show it, and you won't be disappointed. To find out where it may be showing near you, visit KorlaTheMovie.com. The Motion Picture Association of America has not rated this documentary. This is your pal, Matías Bombal, bidding you a fond farewell.